Alright, so now we're going to get into Argyle callouts. So, one thing to keep in mind here that on Argyle, these are the callouts that my team specifically use. Now, most of these callouts are universal, but some of them are kind of flipped. Like, a lot of other teams will use some of our callouts for different locations. So, just keep that in mind that these are, for Argyle, pretty much what I and my 3 teammates use specifically for callouts. So basically back here, you're just going to have your back flag, lift, grapple. And then when you know, obviously this is kind of in the flag. And then a lot of times, so like people sit here, they'll sit there. So you'll either say bandit spawn or BR spawn. And then coming over here, you have snipe door. So we call this caution. Basically, this is caution. Kind of like caution sign symbols. Then up here we have glass, and then in here would be PCs, and then like if someone's hiding here, disruptor. And this would be like snipe plat essentially. Then you have elbow. Elbow is where the snipe spawns. Bottom elbow would be down here. Nades. And then this whole area basically would be courtyard. So up here you have plasmas. This would be our top, we call this engine side. So like here, or no, sorry, we don't call it. That's actually what most people call it. Is they'll call it like engine or elbow. Our team calls this our shortcut. So like down here would be bottom cuts, and then up here would be top cuts. So, like I said, other teams, a lot of teams will call this elbow or engine, and they'll call this E1 and E2, which is obviously, like, it's pretty solid, but like I said, this is specifically for how Sentinels call things out. So, we use bottom cuts, top cuts for shortcuts, and then if you come back here, our basement, this is pretty much, this whole thing is just basement. Then you come out front. So we kind of use, this is like Narrows inspired essentially from Halo 3. So we'll call this, because a lot of people, you know, they'll come here and sit here. We call this R1. That is L1. This is R2. This is L2. And then up like here would be R3, L3, R4, L4. That's essentially what we use to discern like all these different jump ups. Then a lot of other teams will call this area caution, whereas like before I mentioned we called this caution. So for us, we just call this our vent door, like this is our vent, right? So our vent door, and then over here we call this area, we just call this pistol plat. Pistol ramp is like this area. Pistol is here. But this door would basically just be our pistol door. And then, so you move up a little bit. So these staircases, we call them lights. Like this whole area is pretty much lights. Because of the lights that spawn here. So, we pretty much just say right lights and left lights. A lot of like our lights and their lights was confusing to a lot of people, so we just kind of moved from it's right lights, left lights, and then this is our vent because you access the vent from your side. So, and then their vent. So pretty much easiest way to remember that, our vent, right vent, their vent is the left vent. So like our. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. So you come down over here. This would be long haul. And then when you come down here, so there's a few different callouts for this. When the map first came out, there used to be a fusion coil that spawned here. So a lot of people and teams will call this area coil. A lot of people call it the needler, and a lot of people call it trench. Honestly, any of them work. They all mean the same thing. Our team, we usually we bounce between trench and coil like mid-game. Like, we'll literally say there's one our trench, and then we'll say there's one our coil. And we know what each other mean. It's just kind of what comes out. But yeah, and then you have bottom mid on the on the repulse. And then you have the commando spot, so this would be like our commando, their commando. And I'm trying to think if there is anything else. This is another, like Aqua, this is another, it's a symmetrical map, so pretty much all the callouts are going to be the same, except it's just going to be like on their stickies instead of on our stickies. Obviously there's two different plasma spawns, so there's like there's this one and that one, but you're using, for this area, you're calling out like coil, trench, needler, or whatever. So this is the plasma spawn, and this is like, if someone is like kind of sitting here or something, you would just say our coil on the plasmas, like that. Like people will instantly know what you're talking about. Oh well, that didn't work. So, we just call this camo pad. Obviously the quantum spawns here in actual flag games, but we just call it camo pad because the first, like, however long it was a camo that spawned here. So if anybody's here, like maybe they're standing up here sniping, you just say sniping camo pad. But yeah, I mean, again, it's symmetrical, so you pretty much just follow the callouts. You could say red and blue, but we just say ours and theirs. It would be, like, it's a little bit different for Aqua, right, where you have Flag and Slayer, because Slayer, the spawns are dynamic. Like, you can spawn on both sides of the map, whereas, like, on Argyle, you only have Flag, and the flags are static. Or, not the flags, the spawns. So, you can only... It's our side, their side. That's, you know what I mean? But feel free to, you could say red, you could say blue, but I think it's a lot easier to just go with ours and theirs, especially on the map like this, where there's... there's 3 different levels. There's a lot of different routes you can take. But yeah, I think that's about it for this map. I don't think I missed anything, and if I did, I apologize.